So I've now moved into Dashboard, and these are some metrics about my own activity. This is what I've done on my personal community page. These are my creator projects. These are my publisher projects. But when I go into my publishers, let me go into now a relatively recent piece of work. These are my students that are working in my HRE 572 and 457 class. And you can see here, this was the project they were doing. This was the project name, this was its description, and there were 45 members in this group. So when I do this now, what we're doing is we are analysing 45 pieces of work times 2 or 3 or 4 versions in some cases, and all the feedback given, every version, every change, and in fact, look, it's probably a couple of 100,000 words that are being analysed, and we warn that this process might take 20-30 seconds or so. It doesn't happen quickly, but what you get is a lot of immediate data and immediate feedback as the teacher or as the coordinator of the knowledge community, if we want to frame it that way. We get an awful lot of feedback around all the work that the students have been doing. Now, this kind of recursive feedback, you know, I would call this recursive feedback instructor feedback, feedback around instructional design, around the progress of individual students, and so on. So here we are, we're now into the dashboard area, which shows all the data about all the members of this project. So here we have all the people who were involved. So here we are into the dashboard area now where here we are in the dashboard area where we see the project and all the people who are involved in this project. These were all the students who were in my class, 45 people here. And what we see here is the number of versions written. So see here, I've got to be a little bit worried about this student because not much has happened yet, and maybe she's dropped out, and maybe I need to have a look at what the story is. This is the average version length, the number of words each person wrote. This is the average version percentage edited. So to what extent did the people take on board their reviewers' comments? How much did they change their versions between one version and the next? This is more relevant for K-12 schools, which is the academic language level, which really is not, you know, I mean, Mark Twain's not going to succeed in this area or get a terribly high score. These are actually grade level analyses based on syntax, vocab, and the like. Not relevant for this particular group, but certainly relevant in K-12 settings. This is the average peer review rating, which for me as a teacher is actually really relevant. So this is the average peer review rating across all the reviews. This is the average self-review rating. I asked everybody to rate themselves, and as yet I haven't rated this. This is the publisher review rating. This is the average rating across all the scores. By the way, green is 1 standard deviation above the norm, red is 1 standard deviation below the norm, and interestingly, these things are often scattered all over the place. This is the number of reviews authors. This is the average review length, which is really interesting, which is the number of words a person wrote in responding to other people. In other words, their contribution to other particular students. This is the number of annotations they made, and this is an overall score based on all those metrics. So this gives us an at-a-glance view of what's happening in this class. And if I want to go into one particular student's work, here I can see the differences are marked, you know, things deleted are in red, things added are in green, so I can see all the changes that were made. I can see the original version, I can see the changed version, I can see review 1, I can see review 2, I can see the review criteria, this is the percentage edited, this is the changed length, this person added quite a bit in response to reviewers, and this gives me an incredibly detailed view of everything that happened during this project process. So again, from the point of view of this idea of recursive feedback, I, as the instructor, are getting an incredible lot of feedback, and recursively I can go in and I can support students. This feedback can produce something. I mean, it's an iterative process, this knowledge process. It's not just a final piece of work that's being handed in with a score on it. It's a process where I can contribute to the knowledge work of students.